Good morning. I'm Jay Hughes, and I've applied to be your next Lieutenant Governor. I'm proud to be here with my wife of 25 years, Chris, and my daughter, Patricia. And I heard something once that stuck with me, it seems more now, that a northern fairy tale begins with once upon a time. But a southern fairy tale begins with, y'all ain't gonna believe this. Well, when I describe the sneaky legislative process to the folks back home, it's the same thing I say. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. Transparency's left the Capitol, and it took common sense with it. I wanna bring them back. Like Johnny Cash sang, I've been everywhere, man. Over 70,000 miles listening to people, regular working Mississippians, and I learned something real important. The greatest divide is not between the Republicans and Democrats, it's between career politicians and your working man and woman. Now, my mom and dad were hardworking people, and I was too. My dad worked every job from pipe yards to the oil field. My mama worked everything from a print shop to a truck driver. Now, I sold Grit magazine. I was a paper boy, bus boy, waiter, carpenter, ultimately enlisted soldier in the United States Army. Thank you. What that is I've worked every job possible to pay my way and support my family. And that's the same thing I'm doing on this campaign. I went from being an employee to an employer. I went from signing the backs of paychecks to the fronts of paychecks. Because you see, experience is the best education you can get. My experience is I spent every single day of my education in a public classroom. So I didn't need an election year to discover the value of public school teachers and schools. My experience is that I've been creating jobs and meeting payroll for over 30 years, so I already knew that businesses needed quality employees and educated ones. So I didn't need to waste tax dollars on a survey to find out what businesses needed. My experience is my mom was a truck driver, I was a truck driver, and I've been on roads in all 82 counties in the last year. I understand that those are the lifelines to every community, and they're in horrible shape. So I didn't have to ask the Manufacturers Association about the value of roads and bridges. And importantly, my experience is that my mom died in the back of an ambulance on the way to a hospital that was just a few miles too far. So I don't need to ask the Hospital Association of the value of rural hospitals in every single community. I've got a lifetime of one thing. My lifetime is one thing, and that's being real. And my leadership would look like the common sense and values that I got at home, at church, and in the military. Values like faith, family, patriotic veteran, gun owner and carrier, a belief that government waste is the cruelest tax of all, and pro-life but pro-entire life, which means addressing infant mortality and the health of the mother, early childhood education, poverty, and good paying jobs. 3 words also describe me: real, transparent, and tireless. And if anyone's kept up with us, we've been everywhere, and that's all day, every single day. And I believe that those life experiences and my values are what make me the best candidate for lieutenant governor. See, the career politicians want y'all to believe that everything is great, that they brag about all the jobs we have. Well, I've met way too many teachers, state workers, fire department, and police that have 2 or 3 of those jobs each trying to make ends meet. See, I get it. This is why my platform is personal. It's not political. It's people. In all 82 counties, in all 290 cities and towns, all people, whether they look like me, act like me, or think like me. The people that just want quality public schools, safe roads and bridges, good health care, and jobs on their main street. So I want to tell you about schools. You know I'm passionate about it. And you know what? Despite all that you hear, what is it that teachers really want and deserve? Respect. That's what they need. And they want to be able to teach. They need to be able to teach, and less standardized testing. Y'all, our job and their job is to make children smarter, not testing companies richer. Instead of paying our teachers what's left after corporate giveaways and vouchers, we need to be paying them what they're worth. And lately we've been seeing a lot of this. What we've got to do is fund our classroom supplies and get them into the classroom, not to Weight Watchers and poster hangers. Now, the brain drain is real, and I've seen it more here than anywhere else. I mean, how many of you have family or you're from another state now, even though you're here? You know, there's too many of it. And what we need to do is focus on policies that make Mississippi attractive to everyone instead of a giant roadside sign that says, "Welcome to Mississippi," kinda. You know, VOTEC, I went for 2 full years, junior and senior year. And the truth of the matter is, not everyone's going to go to college. It's not for everybody, period. And that's okay. A solid work skill out of high school and no student loan debt would be a game changer and desperately needed in every county. When it comes to health care, access means every single community and not just the lucky few. Medicaid reform that the Hospital Association has come up with is a $1 billion answer that we have ignored purely over party politics at the expense of people in our small towns and counties. It means recognizing that mental illness is real, and ignoring it or cutting funding to it does not fix it. It means recognizing that addiction is very real, and it's impacting almost every family and community in this state. Jail doesn't cure it. Roads and bridges, we need to be taking care of our roads and bridges every day of every year, because that's for the economy, the emergency vehicles, and our school buses. We also ought to have a sales tax diversion back to our counties, just like the cities get. If Amazon can figure out how to get my dog treats to my front door overnight, then the state ought to be able to figure out where my door is in the state. Now, if we actually funded the rural fire truck program every single year, every homeowner would get a break on their insurance premium, and that's a real tax cut. So agriculture in the Delta, it's a no-brainer. Finish the pumps and everything that's been impacted by the flooding. And on the most fertile land in the United States, we need to follow the federal guidelines in our neighboring states and allow our farmers to grow industrial hemp. It's honestly quite clear what attracts and expands jobs. It's called skilled graduates, good health care, solid infrastructure, and great agriculture. But Mississippi is at a crossroads again, people. And the question is, which way do we go? Do we go with the same old, same old? Do we go with the next in line? I will put policy in front of party and politics. And I'll fight for your PERS and your COLA check like it's your money, because it is your money. I won't just have an open door policy. I'll take the door off the hinges. And I'll do something that's been missing in the Capitol for a long time. I will listen to you and I will tell you the truth. That is what we desperately need. Now, the reality is this race will likely, there's 3 of us, but it's likely going to come down to Mr. Hoseman and me. It may not. And he's a good man, but we have different experiences. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and I was born with a plastic spoon in mine. In 1981, 4 decades ago, I joined the United States Army as a soldier, and he ran for office the first time. Now, since then, I've been running private businesses, creating hundreds of Mississippi jobs, and paying taxes. I've been a substitute teacher. I've donated my alderman salary and my legislative salary back to my local school districts. I've also provided back to my community, I've provided free internet around the square for students to use for the last 10 years, not just in an election year. So what it is, I've fought every single year for better wages, mental illness, addiction recovery, first responders, and local control. And I will work well and commit to work well with whoever is elected governor because the people of Mississippi deserve that. Now, I firmly believe in an even better Mississippi for everybody, but mostly I believe from the bottom of my heart that it all starts with education, and that's public education. I'm humbled to be here. I'm living the American dream, and I owe it to some amazing teachers and some family members that never gave up on me. I'm Jay Hughes. I'm my father's son. I humbly ask you for your vote on November the 5th. I know my parents are watching me. Thank you, and God bless you.